Hey there, and happy Tuesday. I was getting ready to go live and my home phone started to ring, and I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to wait that out so that I don't have that distraction in the background when I start filming here for everyone. So welcome to Pam Cranky's virtual stamp party and card number 3. It's fun that I think I've picked out something that I'm excited about for her too. If you know Pam, the theme is die cuts. She loves die cuts, and she's very good at remembering special occasions for people. So I was trying to find a card that she could send for those types of situations and occasions too. So hey there, Julie. Hi, Lois. Thanks for joining in. So let me get started as I wrap up her party with card number 3. So today I'm going to break out the blending brushes. I love the blending brushes, but you would never know it because I rarely use them. I was so excited when they first came out, and then there was always the back order situation, and for a while they were so popular, Stampin' Up! Turned off the number and no one could order them until they caught up on their supplies and got more in. And so then I kind of put mine away because I always say that with you guys. I feel like I shouldn't show you things that you can't order. And so with that, I thought today is a great day to break out the blending brushes. And it's fall, and I have a huge arrangement of giant sunflowers. That was going to be my prop. I was going to start out my video with my huge bouquet of sunflowers. It's so big you wouldn't be able to see me behind it. That would have kind of been a fun intro for my video. But let me get my iPad set down and get my camera turned around for you guys, so that way you can see how I put together the card, and I can see if you guys have comments or questions. And there we go. Now I need to get my camera the right way. There. So here is today's card. How fun and soft are these sunflowers here, and I will show you how easy it is to put this card together. I put different textures on for the background, and I'll show you how to do that as well. And I am going back to the annual catalog for this. So here's the annual catalog, and you'll find Celebrate Sunflowers on page 17, so pretty much in the beginning of the catalog. When Stampin' Up! First puts bundles out, this is a good reminder that I can tell you guys about too. When Stampin' Up! First debuts their bundles, the stamp sets and the coordinating dies, which the coordinating dies are on page 166 of this annual catalog as well. There's a 10% bundle savings if you do that within that first catalog year of them having it. But now, and so many of you did get this bundle, so then I feel excited about showing it to you, just so that you can, you don't even have to order it. You can pull out what you've already purchased and make a card using it. So a lot of you were able to get the 10% bundle savings when you got the sunflowers and dies right away. So this is a separate purchase, the stamp set and the dies, but it's just kind of a reminder sometimes that we need to jump on things instead of hesitating to order and such too. So hey there, Carol, good to have you on here. So that is where I'm pulling that from. I think it's going to make a fun fall card, or just kind of a celebratory card. When I see sunflowers, I think of my son and his wife's wedding. That's why I have such a huge bouquet of sunflowers in my house, because that was a theme of their wedding when they got married 5 years ago. So how I'm going to start my card, this is my color combination, very neutrally, very geared toward just neutral, which a lot of times nature flowers are neutral, and I'm just bringing in the colors with the ink pads and the blending brushes. So I'm using Crumb Cake Basic Black, and I'm using thick white, and I'll tell you why when I get to that part too. So the base of my card, Crumb Cake, is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 folded this way. I'm just going to set that aside for now. As my next layer, that's what I'm going to work with, is just cut that 1/4 inch less all the way around. So this layer is going to be 4 by 5 1/4, and I'm going to start that. Like I said, I had fun adding some texture to it, and I think it makes such a difference. So I'm going to use the Bark 3D embossing folder here, and with it being 3D, I can remove some of my different cutting pads and different things here. So I have the plate number 1, and then I'm just going to put that up against that line. I love that there's a line here with the bark. It just kind of has random little texture to it, but yet I still want it to be straight across. So with that, so that's plate number 1. And then the next plate that I'm going to put on top is plate number 4. And that is because it's a 3D embossing plate. So those are the only things that I put through with this. And just like so, we have a great textured bark looking piece of cardstock there. And Pam's on. Pam's our hostess. This is great. I always love it when my hostesses can join in. So I'm going to put aside my bark 3D embossing folder. And it just stuck to my glue dots. All right. And then I'm going to load up the plate 2. So I have 1 and 2 there, and then a cutting plate, which is 3. And it's like, I need another cutting plate. Here it is. I'm like, okay, usually doesn't everybody have their cutting plates together? I'm like, why wouldn't there be a cutting plate right here? Okay, so I'm going to take that piece of cardstock that I just embossed with the bark 3D embossing folder, and I'm going to run it through next with my rectangle stitched framelits. So I'm pulling that from my rectangle stitch framelits, and so I'm going to hold that up so you can kind of see what size. There's such a jumbled mess in there because there's so many great stitched rectangle shapes in there that you can kind of get an idea, if I show you like this, what size I'm using. Hi Barb, thanks for joining in. So next I'm going to just run this through, and this is more for just added kind of texture and dimension too. There's no reason that this has to be on there, but I copied the idea from Janie Crane, another fellow Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I just loved what it did for the card. So I'm going to use both of these pieces and kind of just put that back in there when it's time to assemble. So there's stitching on both here, and it just adds another dimension to the card that I think will have more wow once I get to the point of assembling. And next I'm just going to keep on doing more die cutting, and I'm going to next use my sunflowers dies here. So I'm going to use the big sunflower, and then I have a leaf, and oh man. Okay, this is Pam's party. Pam and I were just talking about how I lost that center part for the die, or a die, but now I lost the center part for the sunflower here, and I feel like it happened when when my glue dots kind of stuck there. I was gonna say, I know it has to be here. So when my glue dots stuck to my packaging, I think everything just kind of shuffled and moved. I'm like, it has to be right here, but I'm still missing that die from her first card on Friday. Okay, so sunflowers dies. So those are the 3 dies I'm using, but just know that there's fun extra dies that cut out the outside of the leaf, the outside of the sunflower, some little accent pieces, and more leaves, and the other sunflower image that coordinates with the stamp set there. And so with these 3 big pieces, these are kind of all outline dies here that I'm using. So because this especially is pretty like delicate, I am bringing out the thick white cardstock because I feel like it just gives us a better base to work with, especially with the blending brushes. So I'm going to put that through, and I'm going to run it back through because it is a little bit more delicate. So all of that's going to come out, and that's where I pull out my wonderful take your pick tool that has the brush tip on there. So the brush tip you can buy as a separate thing, and it comes with this nice mat. So as I just run that over it, you can see all these pieces just fall out that way. And then, as you guys know, I own 2 take your pick tools because I use them so often. So look how easy that is to take that out. And it's got, like I said, a really nice because I use the thick white instead of the Whisper White. You know, the Whisper White would work, but like I said, because I want to do some brushing on there, I want to make sure I have a good foundation to do that with. And let me just take and run that through again for a second sunflower. At first I thought this card looked like a little too putsy for me, but it really came together so quick that I hope you don't go, oh, like I wouldn't do this, so I should give up on the video. No, keep watching because it really does come together in a fun way. Okay, so same thing there. Just gonna brush away all those pieces. Like, don't we wish like everything would just come out so slick like that? Okay, so just one little piece on this one that I had to pull out extra. The other one, nothing. Oh, maybe two on this one. Okay, so that's set to go. And then I'm just going to keep using the thick white for the next few pieces here. And I need a total of 3 leaves and 2 of these centers of my sunflowers. So just going to roll that through like so. Could have actually cut the multiples out, I guess, ahead of time to save time. I wasn't thinking about that. My son's at his knee specialist, so I'm a little distracted because as moms, we worry about that because it's not a usual appointment. It was supposed to be, but it turned out not to be usual. So he's keeping me updated, but I said, hey, I'm scheduled to do my live video. And he understands, and we will keep in touch. But I think we're at the point where it's all good. Otherwise, I would have delayed my video. Of course, you guys know my kids are pretty important. They come first. Okay, so I've got 2 of these centers, 1 for each of my sunflowers here. And then got this leaf here, and I want an odd number of leaves, so I'm just going to run that through one more time. You'll be just so surprised how fast though the coloring goes on this card, which I'm really excited to show you. So that's why I think I can kind of like put up with a little bit of the die cutting taking a little bit longer than some cards, because the coloring part of it just really happens quickly. So let me get some scratch paper here, and I'm going to start with my sunflowers. Oh, I'm glad that you like the card, Pam. Thank you. Okay, so I'm going to start with Bumblebee ink. So I'll open that up. And here's one of my blending brushes. So it has the Bumblebee ink on there. And just before I forget, when I'm done using this and done making Pam's cards, I just run these underneath like my kitchen or bathroom faucet and just kind of flick it with my finger to get to the ink until the water runs clear. So I just kind of swirl this on my ink pad there, and because this is going to kind of be covered up anyway, I start right in the center. That's not normally how I do my blending brushes, but then I just brush it around there. I want to get kind of towards the end or the tips of my sunflower, but I don't want to have it all covered. I want the white to really kind of make everything else pop. Sometimes we underestimate white. So I'm just adding that much, and then I'm going to reload my brush and do that same thing by brushing that on. And this is really, it's such a soft bristled brush that just getting that on there, you can see it doesn't really seem to phase the cardstock. And that was another reason too why I wanted to go with with the basic white instead of the regular white, because I wanted to make sure it was, you know, nice and sturdy that way. And then I'm going to switch gears, switch brushes. And this one, originally I started using blue, like when they first come out, and washed it, but it looks stained blue. But I'm going to use Early Espresso ink next. So same thing, I'm just going to swirl that, and then I'm going to start right in that center to catch the edges of that and work out around the edge. And I kind of want it to be darker in the center, and then even if I have some yellow along the edges, that's fine. So I'm just going to ink that up again and then do that same technique, filling that center in like so, and there left more of the yellow around there. And then these two pieces, I think this kind of looks fun too. My scratch paper always looks like a tie-dyed x-ray machine or something like that, which is kind of cool. Okay, so next I'm going to take the centers here and do that same thing. I'm going to go direct on there because I want it to be really heavy and dark. Sometimes for a softer look, I'll start off to the side and then put the ink on. But with this, I really want to press that ink into these pieces for the centers of my sunflowers and have them get pretty dark there. So this one's a little heavier, darker. That one pretty decent, but lighter. But I like the difference because that will weight and give my card dimension too. So my third blending brush, I'm glad that they gave me a 3-pack because I'm using 3 different colors. A lot of you have purchased multiple sets so that you don't have to wash them as often, and then you can also use different or more colors for your projects at one time. So this is Old Olive, and I'm just going to smear that around and then put that on my card too, or on my leaf, I should say, for my card. And here too, I'm going to start darker and go lighter, and my goal was to leave some kind of white too along the tops as I went along. So making them look all a little different was my goal. So some are darker, lighter, and just having shades of variation in there makes it look like nature, because leaves, when you look outside, aren't just one solid color. So we have that, and now I am ready to assemble my card. So back to the base, the 3D bark, I'm just going to take and put my seal around the edges here like so, and then this is going to be put straight on. So it's crumb cake on top of crumb cake. Hey there, Rachel. Hi, Wendy. So that's going to be like so, and then we have that frame, but this is going to set right back in there. But before I do that, I'm going to take some of my dimensionals and just kind of put one in each corner and one in the center, and that is going to just pop that up and give it some dimension and such to the project. So that'll just sit right in there. But like I said, what I love about this is you'll see the stitching on both layers. So there's a little bit of a pop-up to give it more height that way and just kind of stick out and make that framing look a little bit more noticeable. And then for assembling the sunflowers, I'm going to go to my first glue dot on here, and we have this nice band that you can just press. I'm going to try and get 3 glue dots on there, about every third of the way around. And then I'm going to do that with the next sunflower. And I think sunflowers are just so fun for fall. We planted some in our garden because it's kind of fun for the grandkids to see how fast they grow and how tall. And ever since then, we've had volunteer ones every year too, which is kind of fun. So this, I'm just going to pop one up towards the top and then one towards the lower part of the card. So we have that, and boy, does that really fill that in. Hey there, Deb. It's fun to see you join live. Usually you're so busy working. What a fun surprise. So now the centers of my sunflowers, I'm just going to tip those over and add dimensionals to the back side of those as well. So this one looks darker and this one looks a little lighter, so I'm going to put my darker center with my darker sunflower and opposite up here at the top like so. So those are my centers for my sunflower, and I feel like that really completes it and makes it look like it's supposed to. And then for these fragile leaves here, I'm going to grab my glue dots again, and I'm just going to put one glue dot I'm always afraid when I pull it off, that's going to stick to my finger or stick to my glue dot dispenser here, tape, and then it's going to rip it. But that's another reason why I'm glad I'm going with the thick white today. So I'm going to put one leaf here, and I'm going to kind of hide where that glue dot's going to go, where the leaves meet. And that'll also, if there's any extra, it'll help hold down where the sunflowers are. And then this, I'm just going to tuck one kind of up in here, and then I'll tuck another one over here so that there's a couple leaves there. So I love how that green really, really pops on there. Oh, Deb, you are working. We won't tell anybody. I'm sure you're on break because you just won't be sitting in the hallway watching me. All right. So yeah, I do love the olive. And especially because the blending brushes make it look so light. It's such a great pop with that embossed crumb cake there. So next we just need a sentiment for Pam's card. And so I'm going to take a strip of basic black, and I'm going to get out my Versamark pad. So as soon as you see me open up my Versamark pad, you pretty much know I'm going to be embossing. And from the Celebrate Sunflowers stamp set, there's that great sentiment that says, "Let's celebrate you." And like I said, Pam loves to send out and remember people with different or for different occasions. Here it is. It's like, where did I put my little tray with my white embossing powder? So the "Let's Celebrate You" could be very useful for cards that she might send out, or anybody that's ordering through her party is going to get this card too. So "Let's Celebrate You" could be birthday. You could put "Happy Anniversary" in the inside, or if something major happened in a fun way that you want to celebrate, then this will be the perfect card for that. So let me get to this embossing. Hi there, Missy. I'm never sure how loud this is, so I don't want to talk too much while it's embossing. There, I can start to see my white pop a little bit more instead of looking like powder. All right. Very good. Yeah, I always am kind of quiet when I'm embossing because I don't know if it all is just so noisy. Thanks, Missy. So I'm just going to snip this off. Pam, I love it when it works while working that I can watch. Yeah, and some people have jobs where there's just slow times where that's like a perfect break is to come join me. So I thought about just doing like a rectangular piece, but I thought it would add a lot more character and make the card look so much more special if I just cut around this. And this one is so easy to cut around just because most of it, like you just saw, I just cut right around the first part of it. And then where the kind of cursive-y words are, then I'm just going to kind of just shimmy around that and go up and around the word "celebrate." That's kind of the biggest thing, but it really cuts out quick and easy. And I think, like I said, it's worth the time to be able to cut that out. And I'm just going to snip that a little bit closer. Okay, so this does get kind of skinny, and that's where I find the joy of taking my sheet of dimensionals, where I usually use these, and I find the edge piece here that is like my favorite part to use on little tags and sentiments like this. So I kind of just cut along that strip, and I'm just going to take about 3 sections out of here. So I have it flipped over, and I'm just going to put one little piece there on one end, one on the other, and I'm always like grateful when I didn't cut it too close that this will actually fit. So I have a little train of dimensional edge piece there, and that's going to go right across the kind of center in between the two sunflowers there like so, and kind of just holds that down. But it's that fun chalkboard look that just really never goes old, because it just is so striking to have the white embossed on black. Like I said, it doesn't take much to cut around that either. So thank you, Pam. And because this is a Celebrate card, I didn't want to put too much in the inside. And I loved just the natural look. Like, my favorite part of this whole card was the natural look in the crumb cake. And so I didn't even want to put a white inside on here. If you're getting the card, or if Pam gets it and says, you know what, I want a white inside, she can add that. But I thought, okay, I'm going to leave it so that whatever sentiment the person getting this card through Pam's party wants to use, whether it's happy birthday, anniversary, or anything, you can either write it, stamp with your own stamp set on the inside of that. And also, I just kind of loved the neutral look of it. So I'm not even doing any embellishments today. I just think it just looks good just like that as it is. But there again, if you get it and go, oh, I have the perfect embellishment that I think would add a lot, then that's what you get to do too if you get the card, or if you're going to make it your own, because like I said, a lot of people have ordered these dies. So thanks, Deb. I'm glad that you could jump in when you could. So let me get my camera turned back around. So yeah, that already wraps up Pam's card number 3 for her virtual stamp party. And I'm so glad that so many of you have been able to join in. Sometimes September being that transition month, and everything, people are back into a schedule, and sometimes that allows for more people to watch, and sometimes that allows people to be more busy where they can't or watch later. Oh yeah, the bee, that would be good. Last night, just before I drifted off to sleep, I was already planning the next card and the next card for the month of September. And I thought, oh, I need to order more bees, because I did have something in mind for a next card, but that would be really cute, because Stampin' Up! Has those gold bees, and the gold bees would be like the perfect color for a card like this too. Very good, Missy. I'm gonna have to order some of those because I kind of ran out the last time I used them, because I made so many cards and used them all up. So thanks, Pam. I'm glad that you liked all 3 of your cards. It was my pleasure and my joy to do that. And so starting tomorrow already, I'm going to jump in with my September virtual stamp camp. Most of you are familiar with my stamp camp being an in-person thing, but when COVID changed that up, I still wanted to go ahead and see how I could still make that possible. So starting tomorrow, I will have 10 cards that I'll make throughout the month of September. And actually, like, I'm gonna have to really boom, 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 because we're almost halfway through September. And so with the $75 purchase, you can get all 10 of those cards. But if you think, oh, hold on, my list isn't that long, that's where, like, if you need to order something and you see Pam's cards or any of my other recent hostesses, and that still have open parties, and you think, oh, you know what, my orders may be, you know, smaller. I always say $50 is a good order now, because it's Celebration, you get something for free, but you only really need to spend $25 to get Pam's gorgeous 3 cards mailed out as a thank you from both her and I, if you use her host code. Or if you want me to order for you, just mention that you want to use Pam's host code so that she gets the credit and you get the correct cards as a thank you. So very good. See you guys tomorrow. Have a great evening. Bye-bye.